Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys and a Ride, and welcome to our car tech how-to video on the 2024 Chevy Blazer EV, and this is the RS trim level. Today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today we're working with our friends at Mankato Motors Chevrolet in Mankato, Minnesota.
So the driver screen is a beautiful 11 inches of fully digital display. And you get lots of information on there. Over on the left, you kind of get your, on this particular screen, you get your miles per hour, get your lane keeping assist, you get your sign reading up there, and then you get your cruise control where the blue miles per hour is. That's where your cruise control is set. And then how many kilowatts you're using, if you're recharging, using regenerative braking and so on, that's that middle bar. And then down there it shows you your battery, and then you got 91 miles left. That is all on the left. In the middle right now we have a driver safety systems, which is adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and then we have the audio, which I will fix in just a second. This is in a demo mode, and I need to turn it back on. There we go. Okay, and then you can see your media over on the right. Now, to change anything in the driver's information screen, there is this button right here on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. Okay, so if I press that, you're going to see it changes to this, kind of more of a calm screen, much less information available, but all the basics are there. Press it again, and we get media on the right. We get time and temp over on the left, and of course the date, and then you get, of course, a digital speedometer, and then percentage of power being used, and then where your charge is, and your regenerative power, all in kind of an RPM looking gauge there. If I press it again, it just kind of flip-flops that information a little bit. Now you get time and temp in the middle, so the date. You get the information we used to have in the middle over on the left, and then over there you got kilowatt use. If I press it again, okay, we have to activate Google Maps. This is the Google Maps view, so I'm just going to go in real quick. I'll take just a second. All right, and there we go. There's your navigation right there. It puts all your driving info that you need over in the corner on the left. But that is now a full screen. So you got 11 inches of navigation right there. It'll do turn by turn as well. I mean, it's really nice to be able to see that right in the driver's screen right there. Okay, now if I press this button again, then we're back to this, and now you get the turn by turn right over on the right. The other thing I'll point out is if you want to have media, if you just push this button, you can switch between your favorites right here. You also have the button on the back left side of the steering wheel that will also switch between your radio favorites. And then if you want to see media, we just click on here. Let's see, we'll go to Sirius XM. It's going to leave us with turn by turn because this navigation is running. So if I cancel the navigation for a minute, now you're going to see that I can switch between my favorites with the little buttons on the back side of the left side of the steering wheel. And you can also go here, push this button down, and then you can change sources. Just push this in to activate that right here. Okay, and that's it on the driver's screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. All right, so moving over to the infotainment screen. Now, this is a 17.7 inch display. It is massive. And then you have the separate 11 inch driver's digital display. Now, this is standard across all trim levels of the Blazer EV. So again, this is, in this particular car, it is the, in this particular vehicle, it is the RS trim level. So here's how it's laid out. Basically, on the top, you've kind of got your main, I'm going to call them shortcuts, right? These are configurable. You can drag anything from here, right up into here. I'm not going to do that right now. You can also take the icons, the little apps, and you can rearrange them and place them in different spots. Okay, you got to place them in between, not on top of. Okay, so that is a customizable screen. Over here, you've got some shortcuts that will appear or disappear depending on if you're driving. So over here, we got one pedal driving, which means if you go over here and set level, you can have off, on, or high, and you can have that show on the home screen. So when you let off the accelerator, it uses regenerative power to slow the car down and recharges the battery. Okay, that can be activated right here. You can turn the entire vehicle off right here. This one will keep the vehicle running for 60 minutes. And then this one is your light control. Okay, so this is turn your lights off, turn them on auto, turn the parking lights on, and turn the regular headlights on. So that's those, and those stay there. It shrinks up a little bit. This one tends to disappear when you don't need it. Okay, so up above right now, we are at the home screen, and you've got 2 pages of apps. If I go to this one, this is the split screen view that you get. Okay, so I can open maps here. I'm going to have to do some accepting this. This will not happen to you if you buy the car once you go through, but because I'm in demo mode, I have to do it all the time. It is an awesome map, okay? It is Google built in, okay? So I'm just doing here. You can see, you can twist, you can rotate. It's very responsive. And the thing is, what this will do is it will tell you, if you're going to go somewhere, where you need to stop to recharge. So for instance, if I say, I'm going to use the voice command button on the steering wheel, navigate to Los Angeles.
Okay, Los Angeles. Here we go.
Multiple charges needed. So I'm going to click add charging stop. And in just a few seconds here, there it goes. These are all my little stops. Okay, now, not only does it tell me how long I'll need to charge, but it tells me what kind of charger it is. Okay, and if I click on it, okay, I get much more information. So that is one of the advantages to having the Google built-in rather than just using Google Maps on Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. That being said, there are plenty of apps out there, if you don't want to pay for the subscription, that you can get that will do very similar things. And you can run them through Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Okay, but that is an advantage. It does it. It's all built in, and it is a beautiful, I mean, it takes up the whole screen. It is really, really nice. All right, I'm not going to start that, but I just wanted to show you that. Okay, so that's the split screen. Now, in addition to here, you can go here and edit, and you can decide in this big window, I will want audio or I want trip information. And so then it's going to put things in here. Trip 1, trip 2, okay? Right now, I'm not going to be able to show that to you because it's in demo mode. But now over here, you notice there's 3 dots. Tire pressure. So I can't swipe apparently, but I can use the arrows. And then you've got voice assistant, which you have the button on your steering wheel. You could also just say, hey, Google, cancel. So you don't even need the buttons. So you have different ways to customize the screen. And then you can have audio. That's the other way. There you go. That's what it looks like. So you can manipulate the information in this window a little bit. Okay, you can change what shows up in here. It can be navigation, maps, or audio, which is really nice. Now, if I go back over here to home for a minute. All right, so before we move into the apps, let's talk about the climate control. So those are touch buttons right here, but you also have them down here. The ones you don't have down here are like your 3-stage heated and ventilated seats. So the heated seats are here, and the ventilated seats are here. Okay, so you got those on both sides. So it is nice that they have both. So they just put it under one button. Okay, then of course you got AC or heat, you've got your recirculatory, fan speed, airflow direction, and of course sync. Down here you've got your physical buttons for your defrosters, your fan speed, auto climate control, and then on off. Now, if you want to actually see everything, you can click on the climate button up here, and then you can turn it on off here. It's not going to do it for me because it keeps giving me this message because I'm in demo mode, but yours won't be, and you'll see all the climate controls up here. Now, when I go down here, this is rear climate, and of course, you'll be able to control the temperature. There aren't any controls in the rear itself, okay? So you would control that from up here, but it's a tri-zone. Okay, now, if I go into settings on climate, I'll show you this. There are a couple of settings you can make. For instance, the auto fan speed, you can turn that to low, medium, or high. You can have cooled and ventilated seats on startup if you click that on. Heated seats on startup, and if you do both, what it's going to do is it'll figure out what the temperature is outside and whether it needs to cool or heat them. Okay. Auto defog, auto rear defog can be turned on, and then eco climate if you want that. That'll save a little bit on battery power. Okay, we'll go back here. So I want to just address those buttons down here. I do like the fact that they have a bunch of physical buttons. Okay, well, let's go back to home, and you're going to notice that these never disappear. They're always there. Okay, so this is home, and this is where all of our basic apps are. So the first two I can't get to because we're in demo mode, but this will show you just different things on your vehicle, where they are. And then drive modes, you'll be able to look at that and change them and customize them. This is the Google Assistant, but you can access that from your steering wheel controls, or you can just say the Hey Google. This is the Play Store. Yeah, there it popped up. This is the Play Store here, where I'm not going to sign in, but you can find the latest apps for your car. So if you want Pandora built right in, you can do that. You want tune-in radio, you can do that. So the store is always growing with more and more apps that will work with your vehicle. So if you don't see it immediately, it may be there in a couple of months. All right, I'm going to hit that home button again. Let's go to charging. All right, so here's where you can set charging. You can decide how much you want to charge to by using these arrows. Okay, and then here, this is just charge now, so you plug it into charges. You can select charge later, and again, it won't go to that because I am in demo mode, but then you can set it to be ready by a certain time. Now, you go to calendar, okay, and it's not going to do it again because I'm in demo mode, but here's where you could program things, right? On Thursday and Friday, I wanted to charge from this time to this time. And then, from Monday and Tuesday, I wanted to charge at different times just because of the electricity rates. But that's where you would do that. Down here is you can set up your home charge location. Okay. And that way, when you get home and you have special settings just for your home, you can just click on home and it sets everything up for you. You can click on notifications here. If you get a charge status feedback, charge cord unplugged alert, you can turn that on. Charge power loss alert, okay, and do all those. And then with your My GMC app, or with my Chevy app, then you can get notifications. All right, preconditioning temperature, there you can set that. All right, so that's where all the charging stuff is. Okay, I'm gonna go back to home. Camera is really cool. This does have a front-mounted camera, and you get some really cool things. So first of all, you get this. This is the front view. There are no dynamic guidelines on this. So you get just the camera. Okay, you do get an overhead view, which is really neat, and you can activate these at any speed in the front. Okay, you can also go to settings. If you click on the top down, you're going to get a full top down view here, and you're going to get just the front end here. So here's where you should be able to turn on the guidelines, but I can't, and that could be just because it's in demo mode again. But it does have a button there to turn them on. We didn't see them. Here's the rear camera. Okay, you got the same kind of overhead right here, but this is for the back. So that's the back part of your vehicle. You have a side view, but you're going to notice that this side's kind of I've got a sheet hanging on the window just to block some of the glare. But this is your right tire. This would be your left tire. Okay. And then of course you got a hitch view. So I am guessing that if you're not in demo mode, you will be able to turn on guidelines. Okay, but right now they're just currently not showing. So that is the camera. Now, if I put it in reverse, you're going to get that camera right there. And those choices are right here, which is really nice. Okay, so that's the camera. Now, you do have Amazon Alexa that you can sign into and set up so that, you know, it works just like the one at your home. We do have ambient lighting in here. So if we click on that, you got tons of color. You can link it to the drive mode if you want, which we can't change right now because we're in demo mode. But you can, yeah, see, I get that message all the time. So, but you can change to any one of these colors, right? And it's just ambient lighting, you know, everywhere in the vehicle, in the doors, underneath the footwells. It's really, really, really nice. All right, now I'm going to get out of that. Go home. Okay, climate we already saw. Okay, you do have a 5G Wi-Fi hotspot that you can set up if you want, and then audio. So here we are at Sirius XM. If you want to go to sources, you're going to click right here. You got AM, FM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth, news, podcasts, USB, and Amazon Alexa. Okay, I want to just go to Sirius XM. I want to show you a couple of things. I want to show you how to create a favorite, and I'm going to show you how to change the sound settings. All right, so set a favorite is easy. You just go to the channel that you want. Okay, I don't know what I'm clicking on. We're just going to go with college sports. Okay, click and hold. If you want to overwrite that, okay, I can just go to a different channel. Click here. I can click right on that same one, and now went from 991 to 990. So you can overwrite them, okay? And there is a place in settings to manage favorites, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So the next thing is, okay, that's how I save a favorite. Tuning. Okay, again, showed you this one. You can just go here, or you can use these buttons. You can go here, and you can select categories for music, sports, news, talk, artists. Okay, all of those. You notice how responsive the screen is. It's really, really nice. So then, how do we do sound? Okay, well, sound, if you go to the settings gear wheel, you can go right here to sound, and then you can click or drag. Okay, and this has got 6 speakers in it to adjust these. And you can use the arrows too. You can then change the fade and balance just by dragging around. If you want to recenter something, just click that button and it goes back. Now, I said I'd show you how to manage your favorites. If you click right here, here's where you can delete them or you can reorder them. Okay, so if I want to delete that one, it just goes and that's it, it's gone. So it's nice that they give you a way. Sometimes the vehicles, all you can do is overwrite them. Nice that they give you a way to actually delete them. Okay, now this is going to look very much the same in FM. The only one of the real differences is, of course, you've got this button here where you can direct tune, or then you can see the radio stations right here. You can also make them a favorite by clicking on that star if you want. But once you're at a station, if I click here, it's going to go. It's going to go right to 87.7 FM. Okay, I'm going to show you AM real quick. That's about the same thing. Yep. All right, so now I'm going to hook my Android phone to Bluetooth. There is not Android Auto or Apple CarPlay on the vehicle. On your phone, go into settings. This is on an Android phone, but you would and you do the same on an iPhone. You go to connections on an Android. In an iPhone, you want to go to Bluetooth. Okay, and I'm going to go, for me, on the Android, I'm going to click on Bluetooth, and then I'm going to scroll to the very, very bottom, and then I'm going to go here to phone. Since I haven't added one, I'm going to manage phones. I'm going to add a phone, And then I'm going to look down on my bottom of my Bluetooth list. There it is. So on my phone is at the bottom of the Bluetooth devices. I click on it. It says, now, is this number the same as what's showing up on your phone? It takes a few seconds for it to show up on your phone, but it is the same. I'm going to hit pair on both phone and screen here. And we should be almost done. Okay. Bluetooth calling and media. Do I want it to access contacts? It asked me that question on my phone. I'm going to click allow. Okay. Use contact names to improve calling and texting. Sure. So let's just continue. Okay. Do I want to allow access to messages? Yes, because if someone texts me, I want to know. All right. So I'm going to go down to options. And I can say this will be the first phone to connect when the vehicle starts. Okay, so we're going to go back to home here. So let's go over here. You've already seen maps, but I want to show you a few other things here. For instance, if you want to make some one-time settings, like kinds of roads to avoid, that kind of stuff, you can do that. You just go to the gear wheel at the bottom, and you go to route options, and you can say avoid highways, tolls, or ferries. You can do EV payment filters, okay? And so you can have traffic on or off. And also you can have offline maps. So there's a plot where you can make some settings. If you want to search by category, if you want like coffee, you can do this, and it's going to find the closest ones to you. You simply click on it, and then you can call them, whatever, see where it is, and then you can click start to navigate to it. All right, let's go back to the home for a minute. All right. We've already been to phone. Let's get to controls here for a minute. So this does have a really nice HUD display in the windshield. And if I click on it, this is where I can adjust the brightness of it. I can adjust the height. And I can adjust the rotation. You can just click and drag on these. And there's a basic description for each one of those that tells you what they do. But this is nice to have that rotation control. I really like that. Don't always see that in there. Okay. Over here, you got controls for your dome light. You just turn them on or off. And then power window lockout. Again, instead of being in the door, it's now in the infotainment screen. All right. And then, of course, you got the camera button again, so I won't show you that. Auto high beams is turned on, and park assist is turned on. Okay. Now, if I click on more controls, I can go into doors and windows, and I can say power window lockout on or off. I can say I can adjust the power rear gate height for when it opens, custom or max open or off. And then if I go back here, I can look at lights. I can turn the dome lights on here. But if I click on the arrow, it's going to give me the same options, but now it gives me a description as to what it's going to do. Okay, so right now it's set to auto. Okay. And then for high beams, auto high beams, if I go here, I can turn them on or off again, but it again gives you a little explanation as to what it's doing. So if you get into the menu and you're confused, you can always click on that arrow and read the description before changing the settings. All right, you can drive and park here for traction control on or off. Blind zone steering assist, that's when, if the car is reading the traffic lines and you're starting to get out of the center of your lane, it'll gently steer you back. You can always overwrite that with your own steering, but it kind of helps keep you centered. One pedal driving, you can have it on, off, or high. And again, it's got these same arrows we saw before, where it's going to basically give you the same options, but then it gives you a description. Okay. Universal remotes. This is where you can set your garage door openers, okay, or your gate openers or whatever you have. This is where you can go through that, follow the instructions on the screen. Okay. Under My Chevrolet, this is the app, of course, where you can get notifications about your charging if you sign up. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not signed up for it. But if you want to get all those little notifications about when your vehicle's charging or if a charger came unplugged or whatever, that's going to come through the My Chevrolet app. Then, of course, you have podcasts and news right here. Now, what are the icons up here? Well, this one up here is your driver's profile. Okay, and right now it's set up for guests, but you don't want to go in there and customize that, because then you can save things like your seat position, your mirror position, your radio favorites, and so on. All right, so this one up here gives you notifications. This one up here just tells you that you've got a Wi-Fi signal, and then of course that location is running for Google Maps, and then you got your clock and your temperature. So let's go back here to settings. Right here, you can look at all your connections. So your phones, your Wi-Fi networks, your Wi-Fi hotspot, trusted devices. And so, I mean, you can hook up to your home Wi-Fi to like download updates or whatever. This does have automatic updates, and it will download in the background, but it won't update until you're parked, because it could change the stuff that you see on the screen. Of course, doesn't want to do that while you're driving. Under vehicle, you've got audio settings, which we've already seen. There's nothing different there. Drive mode customization, which I can't get into because we're in a demo mode. You can turn on or off rear seat reminder, so when you shut off the car and get out, it reminds you to check the rear seat. Buckle to drive. If you turn that on, the car will not go into drive or reverse until you are actually have your seatbelt buckled. Okay, turn that off and that feature goes away. You've got stuff on climate and air quality. Cooled and ventilated seats on startup. You can turn that on. You can turn the heated seats on startup. Of course, having them off saves you a little bit of power on your battery. But this will then automatically detect whether it needs to heat or cool the seat for you. Auto defog, auto rear defog, and then you can turn on eco climate if you want to save even more battery power. Okay. Collision and detection systems. So this is a way where you can say, I want either beeps for all my alerts, or I want seat vibrations. Okay, down here, you got side bicyclist alert, which I love. So if there's something on the side, it uses like the blind spot to detect it and alert you. Lane change alert, rear cross traffic braking. Now that one you can set to alert or alert and brake or off. So you've got some choices there. If you click on here, all you're going to do is get a description of what happens. I mean, it's really cool. So if you want to know exactly, then just click and read. Hey, I always think it's just easier to watch our videos, but that is there for you if you need to. Now, under comfort and convenience, okay, again, a spot to set the power rear gate opening. We saw another spot to do that. Hands-free exterior storage access, open only. Basically, if you have this on for open only, when you walk by the rear of the vehicle and you're close enough, it'll just open. So it's a little weird at first when you're just walking by and you hear a beep, beep, and all of a sudden the door opens. Like, what did I do? But that's this, and you can turn that off right there. Reverse tilt mirror. So here you can say, when I put it in reverse, I want driver and passenger mirrors to tilt down. I want only the driver's mirror to tilt down. Easy for me to say. And you can have just the passenger, or you can have it off altogether. I like it that they give you the option to have both. Remote mirror folding. So if you turn that on, then when you've locked the car, the mirrors automatically fold. Rain sensing windshield wipers, auto wipe in reverse gear, and then that's the end of that. Okay, under lighting, okay, this has animated lighting in the front and the rear. If we do this, when you approach the vehicle with the key fob, it's going to set off a little animation. When you close and get out, it's going to do the same. So you can have it animated or simple. We've already looked at ambient lighting. Okay, that's our spot to access that. Power door locks. Right, so when you shift into park, do you want all doors to lock, or do you want all doors to unlock, or just the driver's door to unlock, or do you want that whole feature off altogether? Okay. Delayed door lock. If you turn that on, basically, if you open the door and you hit the lock button and you close your door, but there's other doors open on the vehicle, it will delay actually locking the vehicle until all doors are closed. Okay, and it says there, pressing a switch a second time will immediately lock your vehicle. Lots of settings here. Remote lock and unlock. This is where you can change all the stuff that you do from remotely. So lights and horn, door unlocked. So which doors do you want locked? All doors or just driver door? Remote start, auto cooled, heated and ventilated seats here. So key left in vehicle reminder. That's a nice one to have. Key removed from vehicle alert. So tons and tons of settings under there. Now, you can take a look at the apps. Okay. So here's some of the ones that were recently opened. You can take a look at all the apps here. And you can go to the Google Play Store if you want to download more. Okay, date and time is set right here. Okay, just click on that. You can also just click on the clock and it's going to take you, yeah, it takes you to the same place. Okay, so if I go over here to display, right now it's an auto, so it's going to get brighter and dimmer depending on if it's day or night. Okay, but you can change that to day or night. Over here on the instrument cluster, you can turn on the turn-by-turn graphics, which will show up on the right-hand side of your driver's screen, or you can have traffic sign recognition on or off. All right, and then you can, of course, turn off the display. If you do that, it's a double tap to bring it back. Okay, go back here. Different sounds, okay? How loud do you want it to be when you get in the car? Well, I always like it completely quiet when I get in the car. So I would, of course, take that and turn it all the way down, but you can adjust that however you want. All right, profiles and accounts. This is where you can look at your accounts and you can rename them if you want. Okay. You can take a look at the different privacy settings for location and what is GM, what's Google keeping track of. You can look at that all there and you can control that access. All right. Of course, some functions won't work if you don't have certain things turned on. For the assistant and the voice, you have Google Assistant. You can set up particular things for that right here. Okay. You can go to the gear wheel. Okay, you can choose the language. You can say, do I want to be able to say this phrase on or off, allow suggestions, read and respond to vehicle notifications on or off. Okay, use text from the screen so the assistant can read that and also screenshots, like pictures of things. So that just helps it help you better. So there's settings in there. Now, as far as the system goes here, this is where you change your language. Okay, this is where you're going to change your units from US to metric. You can reset options. Let's see, and then there's just here's the tells you what system is on here. Okay, and if I look under updates here, okay, I can look at I can set preferences like download updates in the background, on or off, or download updates via Wi-Fi when available. So no matter where I'm at, if there's a good Wi-Fi signal, it'll download it, right? So, like I said, it'll always download things, but it won't install until you're parked. All right, well, that is it for the beautiful 17.7-inch infotainment screen and the driver's screen on the 2024 Chevy Blazer EV. And again, this is the RS trim level. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.